A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. These words, enshrined in the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution, are not mere suggestions or antiquated relics of the past. They are a living testament to the foresight of our nation's founders. They are a fundamental pillar upon which our nation's freedom rests. The Founding Fathers, having just fought a tyrannical government, understood the inherent right of the people to defend themselves, both individually and collectively. This understanding was born out of their own experiences and struggles, and it was embedded into the very fabric of our Constitution. The Second Amendment acknowledges the critical role of a well-armed citizenry in deterring tyranny, maintaining order, and safeguarding individual liberty. It is a safeguard against oppression and a means to ensure that power remains with the people. It is a right that predates the government itself, a right inherent to each individual. This right is not a gift from the government. It is a natural right that the government is bound to protect. It is not granted by government. It is protected from government infringement. This principle is paramount in understanding the Second Amendment's enduring relevance in today's society. The right to bear arms is a cornerstone of our republic, ensuring that citizens have the means to defend their freedoms and their way of life. Unfortunately, this fundamental right is under constant assault. Politicians and activists, often driven by fear and misinformation, seek to restrict and regulate this right under the guise of public safety. These efforts, while often well-intentioned, fail to recognize the importance of the Second Amendment in preserving our freedoms. They overlook the historical context and the reasons why this right was enshrined in the Constitution. However, these attempts are not only misguided, they are a direct threat to the very fabric of our nation. The Second Amendment is not about hunting or sport shooting, though those are certainly legitimate activities. It is about the fundamental right to self-defense, the ability to protect oneself, one's family, and one's community from threats both foreign and domestic. This right is essential for the preservation of liberty and justice. It is about ensuring that the people retain the ultimate power, a concept that is fundamentally at odds with the goals of those who seek to disarm us. The right to bear arms is a check against tyranny and a guarantee of personal security. The government was never given the power to regulate firearms. Any and all firearm regulations and restrictions are unconstitutional. Any politician who pushes gun restrictions is violating their oath to defend the Constitution. Today, we face a world where the promises of justice and security often ring hollow. Our court system, bogged down by bureaucracy and often failing to dispense justice swiftly and fairly, leaves many victims feeling helpless and disillusioned. The same prosecutor who charged Daniel Penny bragged about letting a murderer go free because she felt bad for him. Criminals are often released back onto the streets due to lenient sentencing or plea deals, perpetuating a cycle of violence and fear. Adding to this sense of vulnerability is the misconception that the police are obligated to protect every individual citizen. The Supreme Court has ruled that law enforcement agencies have no constitutional duty to provide individual protection. While police officers certainly strive to serve and protect, they cannot be everywhere at all times. This reality leaves law-abiding citizens in a precarious position. They are told to rely on a system that is often slow to react and ill-equipped to provide immediate protection. They are told to trust in institutions that are increasingly failing to deliver on their promises of safety and security. In the face of these challenges, the Second Amendment stands as a beacon of hope and a testament to the spirit of self-reliance that is deeply ingrained in the American character. It symbolizes the enduring belief that individuals have the right to protect themselves and their loved ones from harm. It empowers individuals to take responsibility for their own safety and the safety of their loved ones, rather than relying solely on a flawed system. This empowerment fosters a sense of security and confidence, knowing that one has the means to defend against potential threats. The Second Amendment is not simply a right. It is a responsibility. It is a duty. It calls upon citizens to be vigilant and proactive in safeguarding their freedoms and ensuring that their rights are preserved for future generations. It is a call to action for every citizen to be prepared to defend themselves, their families, and their communities against those who would do them harm. This preparation involves not just physical readiness, but also mental and emotional resilience. This duty is not to be taken lightly. It demands a commitment to ongoing education and training, ensuring that one is always prepared to act responsibly and effectively in a crisis. Responsible gun ownership requires training, practice, and a deep understanding of the moral and legal implications of using deadly force. It is about knowing when and how to act and understanding the gravity of the decisions involved. It is not a decision to be made lightly, nor is it a path for the faint of heart. The choice to own and potentially use a firearm carries with it a profound responsibility that must be carefully considered. If you are not willing to use deadly force to defend yourself or your loved ones, you should not carry a firearm. But in a world where danger can lurk around any corner, it is a necessary precaution for those who refuse to be victims. It is a stance of readiness and determination, a commitment to protecting oneself and one's community from harm. Section 4. Infringement. A direct attack on liberty. Every attempt to restrict or regulate the Second Amendment is a direct assault on this fundamental right and a betrayal of the Founding Fathers' vision. They envisioned a nation where citizens could defend themselves against tyranny and oppression, ensuring their freedom and security. Gun control laws, regardless of their intent, disproportionately impact law-abiding citizens while doing little to deter criminals, who by their very nature disregard the law. These regulations often end up punishing those who follow the rules, while criminals continue their activities unabated. These laws create a false sense of security, lulling people into believing that they are safer simply because a law has been passed. However, this happens to be far from a reality. The places with the strictest gun laws are the most dangerous and most violent in the nation, far from the safe places they have tried to become. In reality, criminals will always find ways to obtain weapons, leaving disarmed citizens at a distinct disadvantage. The black market thrives on such restrictions, making it easier for those with malicious intent to arm themselves. Gun control laws only succeed in disarming the innocent, making them easier targets for those who operate outside the bounds of the law. This creates a dangerous environment where the law-abiding are left vulnerable and defenseless. Furthermore, any infringement on the Second Amendment sets a dangerous precedent, chipping away at the very foundation of our Constitution. Each small encroachment weakens the robust framework that protects our liberties. If the government can restrict one right deemed inconvenient or unpopular, what is to stop them from coming after other rights we hold dear? The erosion of one freedom can lead to the erosion of many, threatening the very essence of our society. Section 5. Pre-existing rights, the essence of American freedom. The right to bear arms is not a gift from the government. It is a natural right that predates the Constitution itself. Our Founding Fathers recognized this inherent right, choosing to enshrine it in the Bill of Rights to ensure that it could never be infringed upon by the government they were creating. This principle of pre-existing rights is at the very core of the American experiment. It recognizes that individuals possess certain inalienable rights simply by virtue of being human. These rights are not granted by government. They are inherent to our existence. The government's role is not to bestow rights, but to protect them. The Second Amendment serves as a constant reminder of this fundamental principle. It is a bulwark against tyranny, a safeguard against government overreach, and a testament to the enduring spirit of liberty that burns bright in the hearts of Americans. In conclusion, the court system is broken. The police have no duty to protect anyone. Criminals are running rampant in every city all across America. The Second Amendment is not just the right to keep and bear arms. It is a duty to always have the tools and the ability to defend yourself and your community. Any and all laws that infringe, restrict, or regulate your right to defend yourself is unconstitutional. Any government official who pushes for firearm regulation is violating their oath to defend the Constitution. The government does not have the power to regulate firearms. In fact, the Founders and the Constitution forbids any regulation. The Founders expected the citizens to be as well armed as the government. The right to bear arms for self-defense predates the Constitution and any form of government. The Second Amendment is more than just a right to self-defense. It is a duty to be armed and ready to defend yourself, your loved ones, your property, and your community from all threats, both foreign and domestic. Yes, that means even against the government. Stay frosty, my friends. Keep your head down and your powder dry.